everyone. Today we'll have a look at dynamic row level security. So what do we mean by dynamic row level security? Dynamic row level security just means that we'll capture the logged in user's email ID, and based on the rights assigned to him, he'll be able to see only that data. For example, if he's supposed to see the data for Canada or US only, he'll see the data for only US and Canada, not for the rest of the countries. Okay, so let's see how it can be done. So we'll start Power BI desktop. So as in the last one, we'll just import some data. So let's see, done with sample data. Microsoft's provided some sample data to us. So we'll click on load sample data. Let's select financials. So it contains something like segment, country, product, etc. So we'll just load this data. So this data is going to be part of our model. So we'll click on load button. So if you click on the data pane, sorry, table view, so you'll be able to see the data here. So it contains country and maybe units sold, sales price, etc. So what we are going to do is, so we are going to see the data based on the countries, that is how much has been the total sales. So let's come here. So I'll just quickly create a clustered column chart. Just hide the filters pane and maybe increase the size of it so that it is easier to eyes. Customize current theme, text, term size, and title to be 40. Click on OK. So herein I'll just drag in country on the x-axis, and on the y-axis maybe I'm having the sales here. How much is the sales? So why is it we're getting the similar sales? I think some of sales price, not the sales price. Let's say gross sales. On the x-axis we'll have country. So we can see here United States, Canada, etc. What is the gross sales that we had? Okay, so now what we want is the user should be, for example, if the user is signed, that is he can see only for Canada or France, he should be able to see only for Canada and France, not for the rest of them. One of the ways is creating the static rows and assigning it to them, which you can see in my last video. Herein we are going to create the dynamic rows. So for example, herein we have something like, let me go to the desktop. So herein I've created a small file, user countries, that is which are the countries that are assigned to the user. For example, we have got John D'Souza, he can see the data for Canada and Mexico. So this is the email ID of the user, and this is the data he should be able to see. Okay, so in a way what we need to do is, so we need to make a join between the country here and the country in the financials table. So let me just import this data. User countries. Here in the column name, the table name is manager category, so I'll just rename it quickly. So I'll come here, user countries, and this is the one. So here in the table design, I'll give it a name, user countries. Okay. So basically I made it a table. By pressing the Control T, you can select a range and convert it to a table, which I've already done. For example, how do we do this is, let me show you again. So I convert this to a range. Maybe we can do that. Home and not this one, not format as table. That is basically we could convert this to a range. So this is okay. Yeah, this is the one, convert to a range. So basically you can convert this to a range. Now if you want to give this, that is basically convert this data to a table, just select it and press Ctrl and T. So it will show you this one, wherein you can select, wherein it has automatically selected the range E1 to C8. So we can see here and click on the OK button, and it has given the name as table 1, which we can rename as well. I'm giving it a name as user countries, and save it. Now if I go here and select the same Excel file again, user countries, you'll see the table name that I've given, which is the user countries, the name I gave. You can select it, click on the load button. Now basically what will happen is, so herein I'll be creating a join between the country here, that is the country here, and the country here in the financials table. But there's a small problem. So basically herein it contains multiple countries in a single cell. So if I make a join, basically there will not be any match. So what I need to do is I need to convert it. For example, if it contains Canada and Germany, two rows should get created for Ananya Kumar, one for Canada and other for Germany. Thereafter, if I make a join, then basically the match will be found. In a way, basically I need to transform the data. So let me do that. So here in click on transform data, which is the button that we have here. So it will open a new window, Power Query Editor window. So wherein we have the user countries. Just right click here on the countries and split column by delimiter. So in our case the delimiter is comma, so which is automatically selected. In case it is something else, you can select custom, and then you can specify the delimiter that you have. No, there's another thing. Basically if I delimit it now, it will create two columns. So basically the number of columns depending on the number of values that are there in this particular column. For example, we have Canada and Germany. It will create the column new columns, country 1 and country 2, country.1 and country.2. Whereas I'm interested in creating the rows, one for Canada and another for Germany. So in a way, basically I need to split it on the basis of rows instead of columns. So here in the advanced option, split into rows only. Okay, let's see that what does it do. Click on OK. So it has created two rows for Ananya. So depending on the number of values, it has created the corresponding rows for each and every user. For example, herein we can see John Campbell. For John, it has created two rows. one for Canada, another for United States of America. Okay, just click on close and apply. Now what will happen is, so automatically it will create the relationship between this table and the other table. If you do not want the relation to be automatically created, you can click on File, Option and Settings, that options here. In the options, you can select in the current file section, that is in this section. Sorry. In the current file section, when the data load is happening, at that time it should not create the relationship. So I'll just click on the data load here. Okay, and do not import the relationship and do not auto detect the relationships and click on OK button. And if I click on close and apply now, it will not automatically create the relationships. So if I click on the model view, we can see both the tables, but it has not created the relationship. So we can see here, so basically herein what we are going to do is, so we are going to make a join between country here and country in the other table. Okay, so we'll create the relationship between the country here and the country in the other table, country in the user countries and this one. So we'll match the email ID of the user, and based on the this one country, he'll be able to see the data only for those countries in the financials table. So let's create the relationships. This table will be used to filter the financials table. Okay, so when you create this one, so it will show many to many relationship, because both of the tables contain duplicate values of country. So we can see here, so we'll select here country here and the country here, and in the cross filter direction we'll see this user countries filters the financials table. We'll select here in the cross filter direction user countries filters financials table. Click on the save button. That's it. Okay, so the relationship has been created, so you can see here. Now we'll just create the role here. So we'll come here in the report view. So we will see here in the modeling, manage roles, create roles, Control A, assigned countries only. That's it. And in the user countries, so basically we'll add a new filter criteria, wherein we'll say that switch to text editor, wherein we'll type in wherein the email ID is equal to, so we need to capture the logged in user's email ID. For this we have a function with the name as user principal name. So what does this function do? Let's have a look at it. So we'll open a new window. In this, we'll just type in user principal name in Power BI. What does it do? So this function returns the user principal name, UPN of the user. So that is the email ID of the logged in user that is signed in. So anyway, we will be capturing the email ID of the logged in user. For example, for John, we'll be getting like John Campbell, John 09, sorry, John 0923, etc. So we'll be getting it. Okay, so once we get this, what will happen then is go here. So we capture here. So basically, then for this one, what will happen? Let me click on the save button first. So what will happen is click on the close button. So for example, the John is signed in. Okay, so John signs in. So we are able to capture. So in a way, we'll be getting like for John, we have two countries and only those two countries. So basically, the context will flow from here to the other table. So in a way, basically herein we'll be able to see the data for only those two countries only. Let's have a look at it. So herein, if I come here and herein we'll click on view as and assigned users only. Let's say the user is signed in as, so we can select any of the user. Let's select Ananya Kumar. Copy this and paste it here. Click on OK. So if I click on OK, he'll be able to see the data for Canada and Germany only. I hope there is no space in the end, extra space. Click on OK button. So he's able to see the data for Canada and Germany only, which is true. And again, let me click on view as. Instead of Ananya Kumar, if I enter somebody else, let's say this one, Control C. So this way we can do the testing. So United States of America and Canada, which is true. Now we can even publish it and then thereafter assign it to somebody else as well. So we'll come here, we'll click on stop viewing and thereafter we'll publish it. First we need to save it as and financials with dynamic row level security. Report with dynamic row level security. Typed in F twice, I'll just remove it, save it. And publishing it again to RLS demo. Click on the select button. So it gets published, which we can see as well by going here. So go to powerbi.com. So you can see here in the workspaces and RLS demo. So this one has been published, the financials report with row level security. So we're going to assign this report to John, let's say. So let me copy John's email ID. Control C. So he should be able to see the data for Canada and Mexico only. So workspace, in the semantic model, if I click on security, and we can see this assigned country roles exist, and we can assign it to somebody. Let's say John only. As soon as I type in John, it shows me there's a user with the name John exists. If there are multiple users with the name John, so it will show us all of them. As of now, there is only one user with the name as John 0 with the email ID John0923, and click on the add button and save it. Okay, so now I'll share this report with him. So just click on the share button and I can type in John. So this report, if I click on the send button, he'll get an email with the link as well. And herein also we can have it something like as well, that is people in our organization as well. Click on the apply button and I can click on copy link. So if somebody just opens this link, he'll also be able to see this. Okay, now if John logs in, so let me close this first. So herein I'll click on three dots and new in private window, powerbi.com. I'll type in John, or maybe I can just copy the email ID, the complete email ID that I have. The yes button. Okay, so this is something that he has accessed earlier. Now let me just paste the link again. So I'll just open this and copy the link again. Close it. Now if he views this, what will happen is he should be able to see the data only for Canada and Mexico. Okay, so he can see only data for Mexico and Canada. Now let's say what happens is this person John is doing really good, and as we know, in an organization, if person does good work, more countries or more regions are assigned to him. So another region is assigned to him now. So let's say he is assigned France as well. F2, France, save it. Now we need to publish it. So basically, now there are two ways. One is the data is fetched from my machine. So in that case, if I want to do that, I need to set up the bridge. So if I click here, semantic model, settings, gateway. So the gateway must be up and running. So it is not configured correctly, so the gateway is running. So it is fetching the data from two files. One is sample data and other is user countries. I click on add to gateway. Now the gateway you can always download from here and run it as well. So click on the download. This is the data gateway. So if I click on this, you can always download this. Download standard mode or personal mode. So you can read more about it. I have installed standard mode only. Okay, so there's a comparison as well, that is you can read whether we should go for the personal gateway or the standard gateway. You can read about them. So herein I can just click, this is already running, and I can click on add to gateway, and this is the file name. You can give any name. So let's say user countries and herein you can specify the username and password. So what will happen is um, it will fetch the data from this file from this machine by using these credentials. It will look at this path, which is the path here, and if it finds that and if it is able to connect to this machine on which the gateway is running, it will look at this path and thereafter it will make the connection and maybe it will refresh the data if required. Similarly, let me do it for the other as well. This is sample financial sample. You can give any name. Username and password you can specify. Click on the create button. Now your this one gateway is set up, it is running. You just need to map it. You just need to map it. So it is, this maps to user countries and the other one maps to financial sample data, and just click on apply button. Now we can refresh it. So basically you can now schedule it. So basically in the refresh you can schedule it at what time it should be refreshed. So daily at what time or weekly at what time, you can add the time as well. So at 1 a.m, 12 p.m, etc. You can do that. For the time being, what I'm going to do is going to the workspace again, and I'll just click on refresh here. So it will just pull in the data from both the files, which I think it will do very quickly. So we can see this, it has done this now. And now if the basically now there are 3 countries assigned to him, Canada, Mexico and France. So if this user logs in and checks the financial summary data, he should be able to see for all of them, for 3 countries. So we can see it now. Okay, so that's how it is done. Thanks for watching the video, and if you like it, click on the like button, and you can subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much.